Carissa Pavlika, TV Fanatic.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, thanks so
Absolutely.
much for having us.
And Nikki, starting with you, you work with Al Pacino on Hunters. So how did that personal relationship affect how you worked with the younger version of him on The Offer?
Well, I mean, it was kind of a surreal experience because working with Al so closely on Hunters, I heard a lot of these stories from Al's past, from what was going through his mind during the making of The Godfather. So to then be confronted with those stories and have to recapture them was kind of an honor, and I kind of felt like I was doing the right thing because I had already had a conversation with him like off the record about it. You know,
we definitely had a couple of fun moments where it was like, do we think that he was feeling this way at this point? And Nikki could say, yeah, he told me he was.
That's really helpful, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely. Yeah. When Al Pacino tells a story, you definitely listen.
And you had some interesting casting choices otherwise, such as Justin Chambers for Marlon Brando and Frank John Hughes as Frank Sinatra. What was your process for choosing your cast, I guess? I'm gonna start with you, Russell.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously we have so many iconic characters in this show. We early on just were really looking for people who could find an essence and find an inspiration. We weren't looking for people to do exact imitations of anybody.
Yeah.
And we weren't looking for lookalikes of anybody. We just wanted people who could really grab that special sauce they had and turn it into something on screen. So Justin came in and kind of immediately had this quirky thing about Brando that felt exactly like the right thing to do, even though he wasn't doing an exact imitation. I just use that as an example because we kind of went after every part the same way.
And there's been some online chatter about the reality of The Offer and Al Ruddy's recollection of events being a little bit different than other people's recollection of events. What would you say to people who are discussing that now and how it affects the show that you're making?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, we were telling a story from Al Ruddy's point of view, and all of the interviews that we conducted with Al Ruddy were sort of the North Star for us. That being said, we did access, Robert Evans' book, Peter Bart's book, Mario Puzo's book to gut check us along the way. And I would just ask those people that are, that have, reservations about the story we're telling to watch the story that we're telling, because they might find a lot of similarities between the narrative that they remember and the show that we created.
And my last question is, it's mentioned several times in the show that TV cannot possibly reach the pinnacle that movies do. And yet here you are making that show. So I think it was kind of almost done ironically by, in some points. What was your take on that and inserting it a few times?
It was ironic.
It was ironic.
I think, if you look back, that's 50 years ago, or 52 years ago now. So television was 3 channels and PBS, and that was kind of it. And televisions were this big. So it's just a different medium, and the kinds of programming that's on streaming and television now is just so much different from anything that would be done then, that I think it rivals. There's no longer a stigma. So yes, we say it kind of ironically and funnily, but at the end of the day, TV is just a different medium than it was 52 years ago.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.